Hello and welcome to Class 10 of Advanced CAD. Today we're going to look at SolidWorks Model-Based Definition. This is a SolidWorks add-in that allows the creation of dimensions and geometric tolerancing directly on the model. It eliminates the need to create a drawing. It speeds up the design process and eliminates the possibility of errors. I believe this to be the future of design. It's not being used that much in the industry right now, but I think it's important, so I wanted you to see it. Alright, the first thing we'll do is load up our model file. That will be the top cover. And we'll set up the SolidWorks interface for model-based definition. So we'll come up to any of these tabs and we'll right click and we'll come down and we'll find MBD and we'll select that, and that'll give us a set of tools. The next thing we'll do is make sure that our options are set up properly. So we'll go into options, we'll select document properties, make sure that our drafting standard is set for ANSI, and then we'll come down to dim expert and we'll look at geometric tolerancing and we'll tell it to create basic dimensions, and then we'll come down to display options and make sure that eliminate duplicates and show instance count is on. Okay, your model may have dimensions on it. I suppressed them in mine just to show you that you turn on show feature dimensions, and that's where the dimensions come up. These are the dimensions that are parts of your sketches that are used to define the model, and they show up when you click that checkbox. The use of model-based definition does require some setup, which we will not get into today. That is the setup of 3D templates for your PDFs and setting up the drafting standards so the tolerancing is in line with what the company uses. Typically, this would be done by your CAD manager or your SolidWorks system administrator. If that ends up being you, you're going to need to look into it. Okay, we're going to dimension this pattern using the auto dimensioning scheme. We come up to the auto dimension tool and we click on that. We have to set the part up for a prismatic using geometric tolerancing, and our pattern dimensioning will be linear. Now we set up our datums. Primary datum will be on the bottom. The secondary datum will be this surface here, and the tertiary will be this surface here. As I said, we'll be doing a selected feature, dimension the pattern for this exercise. So we make sure we're at selected features. We come down here and we select the hole. We have to select this though. Select the hole, and you see it's already selected pattern for us. And we're also going to select the surfaces opposite of our datums. So we'll select this surface and this surface, and we'll say OK, and you can see that it's added geometric tolerancing based on our drafting standards. We have an angular tolerance to the two surfaces, and we also have a true position tolerance with minimum material conditions. That's also based on our drafting standards. You also see that there's some green that showed up. That automatically drops into this mode after you've placed your dimensions. This tells you if it's green, it's fully defined. Much like in our sketches, they turn black when they're fully defined. If you come over to the Dim Expert tab, you can see the annotations that have been added. They can be suppressed or deleted from here. You can also name them to tell you exactly what they are. If we were going to continue with this part, well, I think they want us to add a dimension size, and then we'd select this. It sees that as a fillet, and we say OK. And now if we go back into show tolerances, you'll see it's selected all of them and it's added them to the group. Normally we would keep going. We would say another size dimension, and we pick a surface, and we'd have to say yes, we want a face, and we make this face, and we say okay, and that adds another dimension with a drafting standard tolerance. And if we go to our show status, you can see the green continues to grow until we fully define this part. I think that's as far as we go on this particular part, so we'll move on to the next one. Our next part will be the mounting bracket, so we'll load that up. We'll be doing this one manually, so we would come up to Datum. We'd select our surfaces. We have to select where it goes, surface, and then we say OK. And we're going to dimension some holes. So we'll come up to size dimension and we'll select this and this. Automatically detected that it was a hole. And now we'll look at location dimensions. So we'll dimension from this surface to the hole, and it comes up with a location dimension for there. And we say from here to here, and it gives us another one. And we can just keep going. Like that, and I'll just keep adding the dimensions they're asking for. We'll go size dimension, and we'll go from here to here. And the width here will go up to, let's see if that's a location dimension. From here to here. And we'll do a size dimension here. And how about the width dimension? So width dimension from here to here. And then one from the front to the back. From here to here. And what else do they have? I think that's all they have, but we can also do the chamfer. And let's see where we are. Getting close. Looks like we need a couple size dimensions from here to here. Something went wrong. There we go. And do another one from here to here. So I have to select that. And here. Okay. Well, I think you see the process. Let's see where we are. We're getting closer. Just need to find this and where these are. So we do a location from here to here. Anyway, you get the idea. I think that's more than what they had done, so we'll stop on this one and go on to the next. The next part we're going to look at is the turn part, so we'll load up the turned part model. And we'll auto dimension this as well. Do it as a turn part. We're going to do a geometric and a linear. And we'll pick our primary datum and our secondary datum. And we're going to do all the features except for the fillets. So I will select them all one by one. Do I have them all? Looks like all of them. And I will say OK. And it will generate a lot of dimensions. Now you would clean these all up by going to the different views and just pulling them away so they're readable. I won't bore you with that. So let's see, I guess we'll go over to the turn part view, and they want us to see that we can add basic dimensions to this true position by navigating to the position, right clicking and saying recreate basic dimensions, and that will give you the dimensions of the theoretical exact value of those holes. They also want you to see that this tree can be changed and displayed as an annotation mode. The default is the feature based. There's also the annotation mode, and if you want to redimension with a different scheme, you'd also right click on the part and say delete, and that will delete your scheme. These are the annotations pulled directly from the model. You can turn them off here on the feature tree by clicking annotations and say feature dimensions. You can remove them that way if you need to. They go through and dimension in the different modes. You can do that if you want. It's just know that you can dimension in the linear with the plus minus, linear or polar. There's no point in going through that. And we'll go on to the next part where we actually put a model onto a 3D PDF. Okay, now we're actually going to pull a model up and put it onto a 3D PDF. So I will load 3D views. 3D views. And we'll say OK, and this has got a bunch of dimensions on it already, so I am going to pause this and rearrange them so they look OK, and then I'll come back. Okay, I went through and cleaned them up, so if you look at all the different views, it's relatively clean the way the dimensions are shown, except this one off a little bit. I'm going to do something. I'm going to hide these for this particular view. So I'm going to come to annotations, and I'm going to not display annotations and not show dim expert dimensions. I'm going to come down to the 3D views, and I'm going to capture this view without dimensions and call this the ISO. Say OK. Now I'll turn my annotations back on. And I'll go to my top view. Oops, I don't want to show my feature dimensions here. Let's see. Clean that up a little bit more. Okay, now I'll capture that top view. Okay. And let's look at the right side view. Okay, and we'll capture that. Alright, and now I guess we're going to make a section view. So I'll go back into isometric mode, and I'm going to not show all these dimensions. I'll get rid of those dim expert dimensions. And we're going to come up here and hit the section view. And we're going to select, let's see, I guess we want this to be here for section 1. We want this to be 0. Come down to section 2. And we're going to pick the middle. This will be 1.25. And we'll go down to the third section. And that one will be here. And this will be minus 1.25. Let's see what we got now. We'll say OK. And then we've got a view that's cut out through here. So I'm going to leave that without the dimensions on it because it just seems cleaner to me. And I will capture that view. And we're going to call that section. And now we're going to publish it to a 3D PDF format. So we'll come up here to publish a 3D PDF. The one that's in the book isn't there, so we're going to use this approval templates. Now for this step, you're going to have Adobe Reader installed, the official Adobe Reader, not somebody else's. It has to be Adobe. Say OK. And here we have the section view. We'll go ahead and add our other views here. So we'll add the top view and the right side view and the section view. If you have your properties set up on your model files, you can automatically fill in all the information here. You can adjust the accuracy of the model, and you can also allow it to create a step file, which is a universal 3D model file that they can use to create toolpaths with their CNC. And then you would say OK and save it as whatever you want to save it as. And I'm going to save this to my desktop. And then I will call that up as soon as it's done creating. And it's done. I'll call this up and I'll fit this to my screen. And it's giving me the warning that it's disabled to 3D. Let's trust this document. And if I click on my ISO view, it doesn't show up. There it is. And my top view, my right side view, my section view. Now I can move this around, I can pan, zoom, I can even measure things. So I can get this distance here. So not only do they have the benefit of having the 3D model, they can also get dimensions if they don't see them on the drawing. So this has a multitude of uses for people in the industry that don't actually have CAD. So that's it for this. You can also save this as a e-drawing, which is SolidWorks free 3D model publishing software that you can give out to other people. But I think this is the future of design. I think drawings will start to go away because they're prone to error and they don't show everything because of the way they're created in 2D. So I think this is good, and I wish you all good luck, and thank you very much.